Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Booth Podcast, the place where we talk about life, love, and deep topics you can't talk about with anyone else. My name is Ken. Along with me is my co-host,
Dom. And please, if you guys enjoy this podcast, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune into our Spotify and follow us on our socials. It'll be in the description below. With that being said, enjoy the rest of the podcast. All right, so today we're actually going to be talking about the UFC again.
UFC, what, 259, right?
UFC 259, you have Israel, the style bender, Adesanya, fighting against Polish power,
I think so, yeah. What's your Polish prince? I can't remember.
Blachowicz.
Jan Blachowicz.
I
love saying his name.
Blachowicz. He's such an interesting character, man. The thing that we just witnessed, they uploaded an embedded vlog today, and it was like about how... I mean, we shouldn't be laughing at this, but...
I mean, he's a tourist, kind of-ish. I know he's a fighter.
Oh, that's what you're laughing about.
Yeah, what are you laughing about?
Never mind. Okay, well, I'm going to tell it anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
He showed off his bracelet. Remember?
Oh, you're talking about... Okay.
Yeah, there's a bracelet that he had that was made from rope of the guy that hung himself on this tree when he found him. And he brings it around like every fight, and he also knocks on this tree that the body was hung before every fight. And it's like he's won every fight ever since then. So,
I mean...
It's kind of...
I guess if you see it from a different perspective, it's a good way to turn around a man's death.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like he's fighting for him.
I guess.
The life that could have been. Anyways, I was thinking of breaking this down, but it seems like you know a little bit more about the events of this one.
A little bit. I'd say so. So what? Let's start with Jan Blachowicz. Blachowicz.
Yes.
Okay. So, as far as I remember, he started his career in KSW, which is like kickboxing in I think Polish, if I recall. Okay. Oh, disclaimer: I'm sorry if I get some of my facts wrong. It's just at the top of my head. So yeah, KSW, like it was like their version of MMA, I guess, kickboxing, if I remember. And his record was like 17-3 throughout like a couple years.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, so I think it was between the years 2007 to 2009 or 2010, where he was like, top star and whatever. He won the championships, I guess, if that's what you call it.
Okay.
But in 2009, he had a ACL injury, I think, or an injury in general. And so he couldn't compete. But then he came back, next year, and he won the title. But I think he lost one of his fights. I forgot his name, but he was a UFC veteran. But I completely forgot the name, so I can't recall that. And that's when he got called to like the big stage of the UFC, signed a contract, and that's when he decided to actually switch coaches. I don't know the coaches' names. I forgot as well, unfortunately. But he switched coaches, moved to the US, if I recall, and he started his MMA career around 2014. And then his whole time there, he went 2-4. So 6 fights in total, right? And he knew the next match, it's his cutoff point if he lost again.
It's
right?
okay.
Yeah, so he's out the promotion. So he decided to take a 2-year hiatus. So he moved back to Poland.
Yeah.
My bad. Moved back to Poland, signed back with his old coach that, taught him everything. And then ever since then, back in the UFC, he just went off.
Don't forget your roots.
Exactly.
Don't forget your roots. Okay.
Like he's like an underdog in the story because almost every matchup he's been like in the light heavyweight part. It was like, yo, I don't care about you. I care about John Jones. I'm gonna take the title off him.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Yeah, and like they completely like disregarded the man that's like super dangerous right in front of them, which was Jan Blachowicz, right? And I think it was like an amazing underdog story that he's made, right? Because he started up pretty bad. Then in hiatus, then just came back out of nowhere and just won the title, just like that.
So far, it sounds like the buildup of the Conor McGregor-Dustin Poirier fight. Almost like, yeah, wow. I could see how everyone's just been like blindsiding him. Yeah,
but people are still, not choosing him over Adesanya, which is,
I mean,
I can understand. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just right now, he's a good fighter. It's just tough to tell.
Yeah. And it's so funny. He's so wholesome.
Right.
He's like the one guy you can't hate. we were just watching the embedded vlog and just him taking tourist photos.
Like if you guys watch episode 2?
Yeah, I think episode 2.
He takes a picture. I sent to my mom.
And then the little cactus.
And then the part was like his friend taking a picture. Oh, I almost got the bird. Oh, almost.
Damn, almost.
Like, you can't hate the dude right now.
Can't hate him.
It was so funny.
But then there's Adesanya, and you can't hate him either.
Because of, like, you know, youthfulness, the quote unquote last style bender.
Yeah.
Or he also went by the Black Dragon back when he was in China.
The Black Dragon. Okay.
Dude, that was a creative name. I give him that.
And like, let's break him down now, right? He has like I think at 100 combat sports wins.
I think so, roughly, or more.
That's insane.
But it started off with him, born in Lagos, Nigeria, and then his parents moved to New Zealand, if I recall, and you know, because they wanted a better life for him, and he was the oldest of 5 siblings, right? So like that's like being the oldest. I think you can relate to this. Like, it's just like a lot of burden, right?
Yeah,
or like a lot to go through. And he was actually in computer design, if I recall, and then 18 started Muay Thai, and he liked the sport. And he's like, I want to take this professionally, right?
Yeah.
So moved to China around when he turned 20, if I recall. And his parents didn't exactly support it, but he went there, found a gym, found a master. I don't remember the name. I just can't pronounce it. So maybe just like, who?
Okay.
Right? And then he fought there. I think he had like an outstanding record of like 34-0, right? And then decided to go boxing, and he was just all over the place. Then during boxing, I think he also took up MMA. And you know, when you have a record of like, he progressed to a record of like 75 to like 3 or 1, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you create a name for yourself, bro.
That's super big. Yeah.
His boxing career was short though. He was 5-1.
He has only like 5 wins.
Yeah, but he won by knockout once. So like, that's still impressive.
Still knockout power.
I mean, let alone you're in 3 other sports.
That's true.
Yeah, and then signed to UFC. We all know the last style bender progressed. Now he's like what, 18-0?
Yeah, he's like one of the. I mean, in like 2 years, 2 years, and he's won a championship, defended a few times against like some of the best middleweights we have. I mean, some of his fights are just so entertaining to watch. There's one against Anderson Silva, who's also arguably the GOAT. Yeah. With him giving his little Rock Lee.
Oh yeah, I remember that part.
Reference. And then you have him against Robert Whittaker. You know, what's the guy's name from On My Block? Snoopy. We have Adesanya against Snoopy. And then we had, you know, him against Kevin Gastelum, who was probably his toughest fight. His whole face was all droopy in that one. That one was a tough one too. I was kind of shocked. At that part. Like, he's kind of short. But then I completely underestimated him. Yeah, right. Like that became his hardest fight, or like one of his, you know, from a guy like Kevin. But yeah, so, and then there's also like 3 other championship fights. You got Amanda Nunes, the double champ, defending hers, and then you have I think it's flyweight. No, it's not flyweight. I
can't remember.
I don't know, but right now, all I'm focusing on is Adesanya,
the main event.
So we're about to make our predictions.
Oh, dang. All right.
You first?
Or me first?
Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors.
On three.
Wait, I'm still thinking now.
This is who I'm rooting for. And I think is going to win. Adesanya.
Explain.
Well, Adesanya is, I mean, not saying that he's the most experienced fighter, which, I mean, from the records, it kind of shows he is the most experienced. But he just seems like he's the most focused right now. He's never had a moment in his career, it seems, where he's ever like lost focus. He's always been on point, been training on point, just always developing in his training.
Oh, yeah. Ever since 18?
Yeah, man. And he seems like he also has a lot of motivation from all different types of, like, whether it's fictional motivation, like from anime, or it's his parents. Like in his most recent UFC countdown, he got his mom and dad I think it was a Porsche.
Porsche or Lambo? I can't.
I think it was a Porsche. Yeah. And like, you know, he's just, and you know, being the eldest of 5, he seems like a pretty motivated guy. That's if you ask me. So, and coming up from adversity, I go with Adesanya.
Dude, I'm kind of conflicted. I like both fighters.
I think we were all conflicted,
but I'm gonna go with Adesanya. Only reason why, he does have like a variety compared to Jan Blachowicz, right? Adesanya has MMA, kickboxing, and boxing, right? That's already a combination in like 3, as opposed to Jan, who always only kind of mastered, you know, MMA and kickboxing, or just MMA in general, and only recently taking up boxing just to fight against Adesanya. And I think you need to take a lot of time to develop your boxing skills right? So that's my prediction. I'm going with Adesanya. Let's just. No, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win.
All right, so those are our predictions, and it's only March 3rd, so there could be changes towards these upcoming fights.
Yeah.
But I really hope it's not like the Conor McGregor situation. I really hope it's not. But I wanted to quickly get Kenneth to react to these because honestly, I don't know anything about anime. Yes, I'm a fake Asian. But
he bashes on it.
I want Ken to educate me on every reference that he's making right here, and we're gonna go through it.
Notice me, senpai.
Notice me, senpai.
Fake hand sign. These are for weeboos, all the anime nerds. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, they keep saying, oh, that bullshit, just fucking doing stupid hand signs. Like, I drill these things.
Okay, what's this right here?
Hold on.
What was that?
So that's like a seal. So basically in Naruto, his dad, right? And there's a demon fox that went on loose that was in his mother, and it got loose because she gave birth. That's when the weakest. There's like a seal that like contains the monster.
Okay.
And this monster kind of gives them power, but they're sealing it just so it doesn't kill everyone in the village, right? So he used it again to seal it into Naruto as a baby. So that's like it gives him power, but like it's like a way to get all the dude.
Just get like energy?
Not energy, just contain the monster and put it back into like prison or some shit.
Which is him.
Which is inside Naruto's soul.
So he's saying like the monsters within him.
Yeah.
In the fight. That's so scary, bro.
Basically.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully I didn't offend anyone.
And this is the fight. Oh my god, he's gonna destroy this man.
Beautiful.
Adesanya is stylistically like, I mean that question kick. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Adesanya is he's overall super skilled. I mean, how could you not like this guy at all? And they had to stop it. Oh my gosh.
Naruto's, okay, I'm gonna get deep. There's a famous anime worldwide, and I got into it by watching the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight, and that was episode 48.
I heard about this.
A year and a bit later, I started watching the series. So even at the weigh-ins, when I hit the Rock Lee stance, that was the one I hit. He stood there with his arms folded like Gaara, and I don't even think he knows who Gaara is. So then I posted this.
Oh wow!
You know, like,
so it's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Guys, because they can do it on the dime, and they just kind of hit this highlight up of just.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
And just
Oh.
it's just like it was.
Okay, what is that? Explain to me how iconic is this? Because I remember one of my friends that's like super into anime. He comes up to me and just like plays this video, and I go, "What am I watching? Why is this important?"
Okay, so this whole thing is called the Chunin exams, right? It's like to rank up, right? So you can become like a master or like sensei or sensei to be.
Okay.
Right? So this whole part is like it's like an elimination process. You have to win the fight to advance.
Okay.
So Rock Lee has no abilities.
Okay.
So compared to like everyone else, they can like summon shit or
like
all that stuff. He has nothing. So he's pure taijutsu, which is I don't know if that's an actual form or whatever.
No.
Okay, so and that character is based on Bruce Lee.
Okay, makes
and
sense.
Gaara is some guy who can use sand as his abilities, and he's like deadly. He's a cursed monster because he has one of the monsters in him,
Gotcha.
or foxes. And this fight is iconic because a guy who's severely deadly against a guy who has no abilities, and Rock Lee just like went off, and he able to like penetrate like a shield of him of sand, and dude, it was just amazing because no one was able to do that, and or get him as pissed off and shit. And then he thought he won, but he didn't. He wasn't done yet.
Because like this is what I saw. Is he's like he takes off the weights.
Oh yeah,
on his legs, right? And it like
it just creates a big ass explosion.
I feel lighter.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that kind of makes sense for this fight because to give you guys context, Anderson Silva is arguably the GOAT of UFC. And so for Adesanya to be fighting, you know, like kind of coming up in the UFC, fighting one of the toughest fighters. I mean, he was in his grandpa mode, but still. It's almost like the warrior versus like no powers.
And I think also the reason why is because people oversee Rock Lee. And since Aljamain Sterling is like you said the GOAT or quote unquote the GOAT, it like makes the whole scene better without even like actually perceiving it as it is, right?
So wow, it was just like a complete accident.
Yeah.
All right, let's also pull up this other thing I wanted to show you. Right, so everything I'm showing Kenneth is it's all anime related, and I don't know a single thing about anime, and I guess I'm slowly getting intrigued. I don't know. We'll see about that one.
Yo, if he starts watching,
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I'll force him. Don't worry, guys.
All right, so let's play this one. Let me just show you. So this is a scene right before.
When you talk about anime, you ever heard about an anime called Death Note? Anyone? Hands up. Yeah. So he's the Grim Reaper, right? I have a Shinigami with me, and I just had to write his name because I knew he's not gonna last. I just wrote his name in a Death Note, and those who knows the rules of the Death Note, they know there's a certain time frame that after your name's written in the Death Note, the Shinigami will get you. So yeah, it is what it is, and it happened as it's supposed to be. What did you write?
So what is that? What is that?
So basically, this dude, he's handed a Death Note, right? Okay. So it's a book called Death Note, and the Shinigami is like a devil, right? And it's like following him.
Okay.
So like it's some big ass black monster, has wings and whatever.
Gotcha.
He's scary. I forgot the name. I think his name is Ryu. But basically, as soon as this guy writes down someone's name in that death note, closes it, within 45 seconds, that person dies. Like a horrible death. So that's what he's essentially doing. Like, I'm writing down your name because I'm going to, well, in that sense, I'm going to beat you and win. But Liu Key, he wants to kill him.
Oh my God.
So in the anime, if you got written that shit down, you would have, anything could have happened. You could have gotten hit by a car, sliced by anything. Think of like Final Destination, but on the go.
Oh, wow.
So you can make it happen.
Adesanya is one straight cold killer, man. Yeah. All right, this is another thing he says. He did this dance, and of course you've seen the dance. He does this thing where it's called the spirit bomb, and he's lifting his hands up, and this is what he says. He goes, "That's from Dragon Ball Z. It's like my own version of a spirit bomb, and those who know put their hands up in the air, and I just draw the strength from them." What is that about?
Okay, I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z, but I know about spirit bomb. It's like, think of it as a lot of people believing in you, and they're lending their power to you.
Oh.
So like, think of it like, oh, I'm getting the power as fans. I'm getting my power from my fans. So like, creates its own spirit bomb. So my own form of Ball of Fury, really. I don't know. I'm not too educated on Dragon Ball, so you can bash me for all I care.
You know what's really funny is like right after this pose is they all run off backstage in like the Naruto run.
Naruto run, the ninja run?
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. And then he goes, if Jared gets it done against Robert Whittaker, we'll do that shit like Naruto and Sasuke. He knows. What's so iconic with this?
Oh, dude, I haven't reached that part yet because like I've been.
Oh, you haven't reached that part?
No, but I know this part.
Okay.
But basically, they just like fight off, right? And then they were quote unquote best friends, and then in the end I forgot, like he used Rasengan, Naruto's signature move. Sasuke used Chidori, if I remember. And they kind of like they clashed. Okay. And then both of their arms like got cut off. Oh. Not like one arm. So like okay. I think Sasuke was the one with the left. Like he got his arm cut off on the left. Naruto got his right arm cut off. And then they be like made up.
Wow. So there's a lot of things in anime that just really transpired this whole thing.
But to be fair, I haven't reached that scene, so I'm not that educated yet because I've just been so lazy to finish it.
Oh wow! So there you go, guys. Israel, the style bender Adesanya, is he has a lot of influence from anime, and he's gonna be fighting this Saturday. Let's hope our predictions are correct.
Oh, wait, let me add this in too.
Go ahead.
The reason he calls himself style bender, it's from his favorite anime or one of his favorite shows, The Last Airbender, right? So he had to master 4 elements. He did that. He called himself the last style bender to master different forms of mixed martial arts. That's why he's calling himself the last style bender. Like, I'm gonna master everything.
And he's been mastering the UFC, ladies and gents. Exactly. Oh my god!
So I found out like, yo, that name means a lot now.
Yeah, he's a cold killer, Adesanya. Janelle's doing the smug face, bro. So cold. Let's hope that by the end of this podcast we're not crying. But yeah. All right. So, in light of recent news, as Kenneth likes to say, we watched recently the Billie Eilish documentary, and it piqued my interest because I was on TikTok and we just see a bunch of like clips of Billie and her, ex now.
Yeah.
Q. I don't know who this guy really is.
Goes by the name like Stage 7 Amp or something like that.
Something like that. And I mean, it wasn't the whole documentary, right? Like
it was more like just little snippets from
little snippets of just why she was sad.
Like in different cities and everything.
Yeah, I was very interested. Like I was interested about that portion because I wanted to touch upon that on the podcast. But dude, she's talented as fuck. Dude.
Oh, she is, bro.
Billie Eilish is one of the most talented people, and like to do all that at like, I mean, she was technically 17 when she won the Grammys.
No, I think
was she not 17?
18. One of those.
Man, and the fact that she recorded that whole thing in her brother's bedroom in their childhood home, just gives it a bonus of how talented not only she is but her brother Phineas. And like, man, just seeing the mind of Billie, it was what I expected. You know, it's almost like being when you're a child and you're just getting forced into the whole stardom phase. I do see it, and it also it shows why she's so great. You see, like, the stress she goes through with, like, oh, like, I just performed and I'm super tired and you want me to meet all these people. And they're, oh, no, they're with the label. You have to, like. And she was just getting aggravated. And, like, she even says, like, on the bus with her mom, like, can I not have a moment?
Like, to myself or whatever.
Like just one bad moment in my life. Do I have to be judged on every single thing I do? And the documentary showed that even, like, just being some of the best, like, you get shit on for just the simplest of things.
Like, but I think she handled everything pretty great, considering the fact, like, they just, like, poured everything. It seems like she was authentically ready. You get what I mean? Like, it just flowed naturally. Like, I think it was her statement portion where she didn't know other people felt like the whole mental health part, right? She said, oh, I was just saying whatever. I didn't know people, like, I don't know how people were able to relate till I realized no one talks about mental health. I think I'm kind of messing that up right now, but
I think I remember that portion. Yeah, no, yeah. She and the mom is such a great, like, I think watching that, and I was just seeing, like, how her family was, because if Billie didn't have her parents, if she didn't have her brother, I think it would have went to shit.
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
Because they were such a strong support system for her, and like a lot of stars didn't really have that growing up. Yeah, and they make a lot of mistakes, but because her mom even said one time, she goes, how could you make those mistakes? You have people that actually care. You have an army of people protecting you. They love and care about you. It would never happen that way. Yeah. You would never fall into drugs. You would never fall into, like, depression, suicide, whatever. Like, it's just, we're going to be there for you at all times. And you don't have to, like, search so much for love because it's right here. Yeah. But then in that documentary, if you guys watch it, I think around, like, an hour in, we see that now she finds someone that she, is super, like, stargaze for, right?
Oh, yeah.
And at the beginning was cute. They go on, like, a skating rink date, and you're like, oh, man.
Oh, she's happy. Look at that smile. Like, I think throughout the whole documentary, you can see the difference of her smiling and thinking of him compared to, like, when she's out with, like, others. Yeah. Right? I'm like, damn, she's in love.
Yeah, even with, like, her brother, like, she's getting frustrated. I'm not sure, like, brother, like, that's who you work with. And I know that working relationships sometimes get, like, and then it came to the point where she's like, I got my driver's license. And then she just was like, I'm going to go see him. And I don't think her parents liked him at all.
I think it was more the mom. The dad didn't really care.
The mom didn't even look like she liked him at all.
No, yeah, because I think there was one part where she came back, right, and she immediately said, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Q, whatever she called him, right?" Yeah. So then her dad was just like telling her, "Oh, don't be scared of the role, blah blah blah," like, fatherly advice. Yeah. Then she leaves. Dad's doing post interview again.
Yeah,
from that.
I saw that.
And then the mom's like, "Oh, did she leave? Did she go to the guy's house?" I noticed she said the guy, not the actual name. And you can tell, like, she doesn't think of him as, like, a boyfriend. She just thinks of him as, like, nothing.
You know what it looked like? It just looked like they understood that was her first love. So they didn't want to, like, say anything to hurt her and like show that they don't support her, but they also don't want to, like, tell her, like, this is not going to last anyways. because it did seem one-sided the whole time. Like, I was just so frustrated at all the parts where she's like, can you come see me? Can you just make the effort to come see me? And it was at the moment that, like, obviously all of them built up and you're just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But then it came to a time where she messed up on Coachella. It was like, all the good girls go to hell. She messed up the lyrics completely and felt super embarrassed. But because she's such a great star, you never notice that she like feels anxiety. Like, so she was really good on that recovery. But then when she comes out of it, she's super sad about this performance. And then she asks, like, everyone's trying to support her, make her feel good, gas her up. And then she goes ahead and calls Q. I was like, can you just make the effort to come see me? And where was he?
He was chilling with his friends. And I think one thing that also kind of like pissed me off a bit, she invited him, right? They made a deal. I think that kind of bad. You have to make a deal in your own relationship just to see each other, right?
Yeah.
And then, later on after her performance, she's like, can you see me, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what do you mean try?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo.
And you know she's mad when she throws her phone on the ground.
Right. You just hear the...
Dude, I wouldn't even throw my phone on her. But maybe that just shows how rich she is, too.
I mean, she said, we're making millions. Vinny said, we're making millions.
Billie being a millionaire. That whole relationship was so frustrating. And then, I mean, me and Kenneth were talking about this, and it was just like, listen, a lot of people say this, too. The moment that you stop acting like a boyfriend, don't be surprised when she goes and finds someone else. Because you're not filling in that role.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if someone else is treating her right. But the thing is like, Billie even said in the documentary, she's like, I don't know, I can't leave anyone that I love. So when she said that, I was like, that's why she's stuck in this relationship.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I feel like she loves so much. Like, this is how I relate to her. It's like, I can love so much, but like, I won't see a lot of the things that people do to me. And it kind of, in a way, like, this is disrespectful to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah, because I think it's happened to me many times where I'm just like blinded by love and fall in love with the idea of love. So I think Billie also kind of did that too. And also stemming from first loves, like, oh, we're going to make it. We can make it work. And you're just so cling on to the fact and you're clinging on to their potential. You know, like, oh, maybe in the future I'll get something back. You know, so you're just waiting. But like, that's not the best move.
So what can you say to people that go through this, bro?
Leave.
Is it that simple?
No, because like she also said to herself, like, I don't hate him, but I still love him. You know, so it's hard to leave someone you love. So I can understand that. And you think you're in love, but you're in love with the idea of love. You just can't see it. You know,
yeah.
It just takes time to. Yeah, you're too blind. It takes some time, and eventually you realize this isn't for me.
I feel like, I mean, I don't think that she chose to break up with him. I think her family was like, this is not it. The whole doc, it just shows like those are her guardians.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So what do you do if a lot of people are trying to tell you this person ain't right for you, and you still are just like, haha, I can't see those. And hear your advice.
Dude, it's hard. I get it though. It's like, but my advice, I would say, I guess some people just gotta make the mistake. You know, quoting Ted.
You think so?
I mean, you never know it's a mistake until you do it, right? And at least you can kind of learn from it.
Considering that was her first love.
Yeah, like you have to experience things before you actually know what it means, right? Like you can't. You can describe a scab or like a scab to someone, but they won't.
Like a kid's not gonna know that it's bad to jump on the bed until he falls off the bed. Gotcha.
I've had too many of those. Just say that. 20 years.
But yeah, no, I think for me, at least it's like, hey, dummy, if your friends love you, if your family loves you, they will do everything to protect you.
Yeah,
dummy. At the same time, I totally get the whole like, sometimes if they don't support you, just fuck it.
And I think one time in the documentary, actually, I think Phineas was trying to take a shot at Q. Like it was after Billie met Justin Bieber. Or no, Justin Bieber DM'd her.
Yeah.
And then she told her family blah blah blah, right? And then she was crying about it. Her family's like, see, like he just sent like an emotional message, I guess. And finished like, you see, these people value you. Like you gotta know who values you, right? And I'm like, oh, is that a shot at Q? Because he's not there, and she just
He was never there. Fuck that guy. But yeah.
I'm like, damn, Phineas is a good big brother.
So we've already talked about Billie Eilish, and then we've already talked about Israel Adesanya, and this is kind of post UFC 259. So we're gonna go off on the end of the conversation of like, you know, this is what happens when you like kind of shoot for the star or shoot for the moon, and you kind of just end up in the stars.
Yeah.
You have two levels of fame. You have Billie's super fandom and like, oh, I don't want to write songs. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the attention, all that stuff. And then you have Adesanya, who like through all the pressure, you know, shines like a diamond.
And like he seems like by now he's already like kind of used to it. It doesn't bother him as much compared to like Billie.
Yeah, it's like, well, I like you said before, there's like certain levels to how much fame. So I totally understand now from that perspective. I was gonna compare them to, but then it's like you kind of can't compare them to because there's different levels of fame. But damn, like I don't know how I'd react or feel through that type of pressure, right? Like because let's say I got like Manny Pacquiao, for example. Manny Pacquiao has the whole country on his back.
Yeah, that's true.
Every day, not even just the country. He has other Filipinos across the world on his back. Just the whole nation. That's a lot to carry. And for him to win matches and, you know, go out there and just be the best, you know, Manny he can be, that's a lot of, I don't know how you could do that sometimes. I just feel like I always let people down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to always do that. How would you think that you'd apply to that pressure?
Honestly, dude, if I were to like be at that level of like fame, whatever, like, hey, give me an, let's say I was at like Billie's level of fame, right?
Yeah.
I think I'd be able to handle it well.
Really?
Yeah. So let's say I was an artist. All right. Let's say I made music.
That's
or
a little interesting. Keep going with that.
Okay. So let's say I'm an artist, whatever. I've billboards. I've won Grammys and shit. I feel like I'd be able to handle it. Only reason, it's a little tiring and draining at times, but I feel like I can handle it. 'Cause like, oh shit, people support me. Like I never thought people would support me ever in my life, right? So I'm like, okay, shit. This is, and I like what Billie calls her fans. They're not just fans; they're my family. So that's how she thinks of them. So she takes care of them or whatever, right? So it's not like people against her; it's people with her.
Ooh, I like that. Clip that.
But yeah, I think I'd be able to handle it well, seeming enough that like
I think you could handle it well. Then it comes down to like, who are your real friends? Do you know like who you could really trust?
Yeah, unless you're fake right now. Listen, if you're a fan,
because you even say you have like a lot of friends, right? Like. Would you?
Well, wait. Hold up. Misconception. I've called them friends, but really they're acquaintances. So I've figured it out along the years.
So you know who your real ones are. So you like, cause like I don't even know who Billie's friends are. If you watch the documentary, I don't really know.
I mean, she brought that one friend to Australia, but like I didn't know. They didn't reveal.
Yeah,
it
like
whatever.
I don't even know her friend. Like her real friends are. I just know that her family is her family. Even her boyfriend didn't even feel like a boyfriend throughout the whole thing. So it's like, who are your real? I don't even know who Adesanya's friends are.
I mean, maybe because no one really like cares about to put the camera on them. You know what I mean?
You think it's just his team? It's probably just his team, right?
Oh, most likely because I mean they have to surround him all the time, right?
Yeah. But like I don't know. Sometimes like even when we do the podcast, right? Like it's so hard for me to distinguish when we're friends and when we're like. This is a thing that we're doing, and we have to like stay professional. And like you guys don't understand. Like there's just there's different levels to this, right? Like as much as we're not big or anything, but like there's a level of work professionalism that you need to get into, like a different zone. Yeah. Especially with like let's say the guys I do my film school with. There's a level of professionalism that we have to distinguish between our relationship, and that's just so difficult.
Right.
At first I was like, it's pretty easy. Like you just, if you're gonna be business wise, just be very like, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know how a famous. I don't even know what I'd do if I was famous.
Really?
My brother thinks that it's a possibility in the future, but then I'm like, I don't know how I'd handle it.
All right, so let's say I was a fan right now. I'd be like, hi Dom, can I have your autograph? You inspire me.
I mean, obviously I'd give them. You know what I mean? Like I'd obviously like treat my fans like you said, like family. But it's just like, it comes to a point where you just don't know how to take that pressure, like because every work that you have to do has to be the greatest thing. Yeah. Right. Like even when Billie was making music, right, her brother, even though like Billie didn't know it. Her brother kept saying, this has to be the next best thing. It has to be better than the last song. And she doesn't want that.
Yeah, so then he had to like formulate it in a way, like it was in the kitchen. He's like, I have to tell her this has to be better than the last song, but without telling her it has to be better than the last song. You know? And I'm like, he's a good big brother, but like that's gotta be hard with someone who doesn't want to work or put in the work to like execute it, right?
Yeah, it was just like you would notice how he would change things like I just want to make this cooler. This does sound cool, right? You know how they say cool a lot, like just trying to like almost like reverse psychology, almost like they're just like redirecting what it actually is to making it that, and it's just so confusing. It's so I think it's a difficult process because even when it comes to like this podcast, I'm just using this as a reference because that's all I can relate to. It's like, how do I tell my brother that's behind the camera, how can I tell them we got to do a different thing, we got to do something better, we got to structure it better, we got to it just gets into a difficult process because you're in your own mind and you're not really like letting people in. Like, you know, Phineas looks like the only person he let in to understand that is like the manager and his mom, but really like he needs to let Billie in. But there's a level of there's an emotional connection now that you don't want to disrupt. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm just thinking about it stresses me the heck out, man. Because being professional and being a good brother and a good friend is just so difficult. You can't. It's hard to mix the two for sure. Like if I'm working with another stranger, right, and we're just trying to be professional about it, be like, cool. And if they're not working well, I could tell them off. I could be like, screw you, like you're not doing this the way I want it. But if it's you, I can't say nothing.
Really?
No. if it's my brother, I can't say nothing. If it's my girlfriend, I can't say nothing. I gotta like find a way to communicate it to you so that you understand. Same thing with them. Like it's a different language at that point.
And I know exactly. I'm not the best partner sometimes. Sometimes I just don't go. I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I like to just have fun all the time. So I can see where it becomes stressful.
It's just it's a different now. Business language is not what you can use. It's like a different dialect within business language. There's just so much. There's so much that goes into it that not a lot of people understand. That's why when I watched the Billie documentary, I was watching it with my brother, and I was just like, "This is what chasing greatness is. This is what being great is. It's knowing like how hard you have to work, but then like working with the stress and the anxiety of it all." Just having the world on your back, that's a lot of pressure, you know, and to just keep pushing through every day, waking up every morning and consistently going at it, that takes a different level of greatness.
Yeah, and it gets hard sometimes, but as you can see, like, Billie pushes through it, and, like, Adesanya, well, obviously we don't know most of his struggles, but we just, like, know, like, words and stories, but you can tell, like, he's pushed through it because he's been, like, goal-oriented, like, his whole life, right? Since, like, the age of, like, 18, 20, like, boom, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna be professional. I'm like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah, man. Like Kobe said, I always refer to Kobe as someone that inspires me. He has this motivational interview and he tells us, he goes, I have a job to do. It's my responsibility. Go out, perform. If I'm a dad right now, I have to be a dad. That's it. That's my only priority. If I'm gonna be on the court, I am Kobe Bryant. I'm the basketball player. I'm gonna be the greatest on the court.
Yeah.
There are times that you should know, okay, this is my responsibility right now. This is what needs my time. I have to cancel everything. This is my number one priority. And to be able to have that level of discipline is, again, another level of greatness, right? Adesanya is one of those guys that he said, dare to be great. Not a lot of people wake up having goals. A lot of people just live their life the way things go with the flow, whatever. But to have goals means to be strict. It means to be disciplined. And some days I wake up and I go, man, screw this, bro. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to film. I don't want to. But what can you do? You have goals. If you don't do this thing, your goals won't come closer. So what are you gonna give up? Like you can't.
And goals is like the first thing. The first thing you do is, like, you know, make the goal. The second thing, you have to create the habits that lead towards that goal, you know? So, like, if it was, like, the podcast, right, we have to film, like, consistently every week, like, the episodes, right? Like, obviously, I feel the same way sometimes. Like, I don't want to film, right? Like, fuck. But I have to. Because, like, now, it's harder because we're on a time crunch. Because now you have work, I have work again. So like, it creates like a lot of conflict sometimes. I'd say so, like leading on. And yeah, bro, you gotta create habits to reach your goals, I guess.
But I know damn well that if we stopped doing this podcast, we'd feel like because we've stopped doing the podcast here and there for good amounts of time, and we even say to ourselves, what are we doing? Like, I feel like there's something missing. Like, I mean, me and him always say we feel like we were born to be dads. You know what I mean? And in a way, this is us trying to inspire and like teach people. This is like our only outlet to do so.
Yeah.
So this is why we do this, and this is if this is not what you want to listen to, then you're free to plug out, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just for the people that care and support us, and we try our best every day to be great.
Yeah.
Dare to be great. But yeah,
a lot of stress, even though we're just starting. Like, we know it's gonna get worse in the future, but it'll be all worth it.
Yeah, 100%. So UFC 259, we're in post-fight, and our predictions were very wrong.
I blame Dom. He made me lose money on gambling. But I only bet like what, $15. He lost 5.
Israel Adesanya came up short in the double champ fight, and it's okay.
I don't know, man. I was really hoping he'd win, but then obviously around like the third round, Jan kind of saw his opening when he like took him down.
He understood that within the clinch, wrestling was the way to go.
When I saw them, like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Third round, I'm like, fuck.
We can go over how that went. First of all, if you guys know, his weight is normally 185, and he had to make weight leading up to the fight, so he was barely 200 pounds at the weigh-in. By the time of the actual fight, I think he lost a few pounds, right? Because when you like eat a lot and then you like a few days pass by, it goes down.
Yeah.
Except for Jan, he has to lose weight leading up to the weigh-in, and then by the time of the fight, he puts it back on. So, from my perspective, Jan probably weighed either from 20 to 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
so that's why the wrestling was so easy. If you watch that match, it was so easy to take down Adesanya. And I mean, striking, it was a little...
Yeah.
It was a little half and half. Me and Ken were watching that fight that night, and we were just super, we're like, please, 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 please.
I think the part that shook me the most was like the last 10 seconds of the 5th round. Jan like got up, he started going at him. I'm like, okay, that helped him. Like,
that solidifies that round. Yeah, for sure.
But let's not miss the fact that let's talk about Peter Yan.
Motherfucker.
And what was his name? I don't know if I pronounced his first name.
Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling.
God damn it. That match was the worst match to ever have. Like, I think that was the only time that's ever happened. I don't know. But when we were watching it, we were so super frustrated because Peter Yan, even though the judges scored it like around like it was even or tied or whatever, come on, that round, that was all Peter Yan. It was over.
Like most of the round.
I know, right? Like, he was fading.
Okay, all I see, Aljamain Sterling on the ground, flipping, tripping, or whatever. I don't care. He was always on the ground. I'm like, dude, just get the fuck up.
Yeah, and he would just like lay on his back, try to get him in, like trap him in, and it wasn't working. Peter Yan was kicking his leg, like his quad, and just like, come on, just get up, bro.
Right.
And it was really annoying. I hated that. I hated every second of that fight because I was just like, it was good because Peter Yan was just destroying him. The outcome,
the
absolutely terrible. There was an illegal knee, and it might have been a miscommunication between coaches. But if you saw afterwards, this is where I get frustrated in.
Go ahead.
Aljamain Sterling won the belt because of an illegal hit. Correct. And then he gets given the belt and was awarded the win. And then he drops the belt. He goes, I'm not the champ. This is not how I wanted to win. Understandably, right?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a champ move. But then he goes, because he's like basically unconscious. He can't, like, he's concussed, sorry. And then he goes and does the interview. Okay, do the interview. And then he celebrates with his family. Oh, let's drink. Oh, and then he pulls out the belt out of some case. And I'm just like, where was this, bro? Like, that you didn't win. oh, well, like, you know, there was an illegal strike and only champs know not to do that stuff. I'm like, shut the fuck up. This was so frustrating. If you're a champ, you understood that you didn't win properly and you throw the belt in front of everybody. Behind closed doors, you understand, I have to defend this, but I have to do a rematch because this clearly didn't sit well with everybody at home. It didn't sit well with the whole company. This is not the right way to win a championship. He just showed his true colors on social media. I'm sorry. That was terrible.
Dude, when you showed me that, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Dude?
Yeah, man, this guy was celebrating.
Like, we had respect for him when he threw down the belt.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know, that's a fair move. I understand. You know, at least you acknowledge. You're not going to be cocky and shit. Like, oh, I fucking won this.
Yeah.
But then you see that, I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. You know,
like
it might not seem like what it seems, but from what we see, that's what we see.
It looked like J.R. Smith holding a Henny bottle because he won the NBA Finals because of LeBron and Kyrie. Like, come on. You didn't win that. That's not you. Someone else made a mistake. That was it. That's not an actual win. You were fading the whole match. You got dropped so many times.
Dude, and like I remember like he went for a kick at the head, but he just ended up like falling down.
Yeah.
Like, how? Aren't you supposed to like know how to balance and shit?
Yeah. He was definitely fatigued that whole match. There was no way.
No, especially in like third quarter round.
Yeah. When he lost. That was anyways, on a brighter note, we have the freaking GOAT.
Amanda Nunes,
the lioness.
Took her down in 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
That was a beautiful, beautiful execution. I remember going up to the fight, we were just like, oh my gosh, she's so much taller. This. And then next thing you know,
she's on the ground.
And she didn't even like you could tell when she got hit, her legs just were like gone. Yeah. Like waist down, gone. And she fell easily. You get into a scramble, and then you have Amanda with the leg triangle lock, and then it goes into an arm bar. And I thought she was gonna break that settle gun. I was like, oh no.
I'm like, I saw that. Like I knew what was happening. I didn't know what it's called. I'm like, oh shit. Is she gonna do it? She's gonna do it.
And then the ref.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This close.
But it was beautiful jiu-jitsu. I mean, if I'm not wrong, I mean she's Brazilian, so it's like her martial art. So it was freaking beautiful. Just like what can you say? She's the double champ. There's nothing else you could say about that. Like, I think they even said there's no woman on this planet that could fight you. It's just not a thing. I mean, I would love to see her fight this other champ, Zhang Weili, who is a freak. If I showed you Zhang Weili, she's a beast. I think you showed me, bro. She's a freaking beast, but I think she's a different weight, so it's never gonna happen. But damn, who could Amanda? She can't. She'd have to fight like, I don't know, one of her teammates, I guess, because this is terrible. I think everyone's like, honestly, she could fight a man. She could definitely
she could. I'm pretty sure.
Could she beat you?
Yes.
She could beat me too. I can't even cap.
Dude, if you're in the UFC, I'm like, all right, I know you can beat me. I ain't even gonna try.
And like, I mean, it's funny because the whole fight, you're watching the embedded vlogs, and she just has her baby around and like her family, and it's super wholesome. And then she gets into the ring, and you're just like, oh, did we leave Mommy Nunez in the freaking locker room? Jesus Christ!
Dude, I was fucking
scary.
I felt bad for the girl. What was it, Amanda?
Megan Anderson.
I just felt bad for her. I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah, she. I mean, nice try.
She still got a long way to go.
Literally, there's a very long way to go. But back to the Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz fight. That fight was, I mean, it was as good as it gets. If you're a fan of like just martial arts in general, you love that match. If you're a casual, I don't know how you'd feel about that. Maybe you'd get bored. I don't know. But for me, I loved every second of the fight. I thought it was very even until the takedowns came in. Yeah. Like Kenneth said, takedowns definitely were the game changer. And I think the weight played a huge role. I think if, during the build up to the fight, Israel Adesanya like just kept building weight, I think maybe he could have had more power towards Jan, but I don't think it settled because Jan was just a bigger, stronger man. Yeah. And you know what he said? He goes, do you believe I'm champ now? like Dana White put the belt on him, and then I think he said to Dana, like, you never believed in me. Ooh. I think he felt like such an underdog. Well, I mean, as he should, right?
Yeah, like, everyone like is like rooting against him and shit. Like, why? Like, he's like a good fighter, but like people like oversee that.
I think people only oversee it because, I mean, Adesanya holds like this huge market value as a fighter. Like he's dominated middleweight, and it just made sense for everybody. Like, okay,
Yeah.
he's gonna win it. Like when Conor McGregor was 6-0 going into the Jose Aldo fight. Aldo was the champ. Conor was the upcoming, but I'm pretty sure everyone thought Conor was gonna win, which is weird because Aldo was whatever. But Conor was just so good in the last 6 matches that it just made sense for people. Like he has this momentum, he's gonna win. So same thing with Adesanya. He's been 20-0. You're like, he'd win, and he has all this background history. I mean, that's what we thought. and then Jan Blachowicz, and I mean, he's great. We didn't say he wasn't great, right? We just thought that Adesanya might have been the more skilled fighter,
and it was a little biased.
It was a little biased.
Okay, but let me ask you this: what do you think is worse, losing the streak or losing the title?
That is a good question. I mean, technically, Adesanya's still champ, so I think losing the title is fine. I mean, sorry, losing the record's fine because like he's still champ.
Yeah,
Jan is still champ. No one says anything bad about Adesanya. He's like one of those guys you just can't hate. Yeah. So it is what it is. I think it was good the way it ended. Even if he did win, everyone still would have praised him, and everyone still would have like had Jan's back. Sorry, I was thinking of his last name. Blachowicz.
I will never get tired of saying that name.
But yeah, it was a good match. I liked it. I think Izzy might have to go back down. I don't know what he's gonna do, but
no, I think he said he's going back down.
He's gonna go back down. Yeah. But Jan was just the better fighter that night. He even said so. And you know what they said why he didn't win?
What?
Because Adesanya didn't do an anime reference.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, oh wait, isn't he supposed to do something?
He did. Okay. He was very, very calm. But yeah, that's UFC 259 for you guys. There's not much else to say about that.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Booth Podcast. This has been your host Ken,
and please follow our socials down in the description below. Tune into our Spotify, and if you enjoy this podcast, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, that's been it.
Peace.
Peace.